I have decided to do at least one film study on a player from each NFL team in the offseason. Of course, the season's not over yet, and the draft videos are coming out on multiple channels. You guys know why they're not coming out on mine. But the first guy that I chose to start with for the NFL this season is probably a interesting choice, or one that people didn't expect. I have been supremely interested in Cordarrelle Patterson's 2021 season for a lot of reasons. First of all, the guy had been in the NFL for years and had not been utilized in the same manner that we saw in Atlanta this year. I think he had a quite successful season. I'm not going to go on about stats. This is a preview. This video is meant to just show some things that I thought I noticed from film, and maybe some of you guys have already noticed already. A larger film study that will probably be in the 16, 18-minute range will be coming out in the next week or so. Um, Prior to 2021, guy had been just a kick returner, essentially, with some time spent at receiver, and some usage on jet sweeps. I thought Arthur Smith down there at Atlanta appeared to do a great job of not subscribing to what I would call groupthink, or just prejudging people, which is basically, how has he been used in the past? And so, we'll use him in the same manner. Here he is in empty. Of course, most running backs are utilized in empty as the outside receiver sometimes, specifically to draw an inside linebacker. In this case, I think it's Quan Alexander. Out of the box and put him in coverage. And Cordarrelle Patterson runs like a sluggo and gets Alexander to bite in just a little bit on it, and then beats him, up the right sideline. Good throw by Matt Ryan from a clean pocket. Only a three-man rush versus empty. So, with enough time there, and the right matchup, Cordarrelle Patterson, very effective at wide receiver. That shouldn't be surprising. We've seen evidence of some of that stuff before, particularly against linebackers. The same game, later on, he's lined up again at the outside receiver in empty to the two receiver side, and this time he's got a DB, number 29, who's a pretty good cover guy from what I've been told. I don't have a ton of film on him that I've studied, but the guy jumps to the outside. You'll see the difference in technique that this corner does up at the top. He lines up like he's just playing regular press man, and then he jumps to the outside. Patterson takes his route to the outside immediately, recognizing that, and then just accelerates past him. There have been some times I thought twice in the games that I studied, it looked like Patterson may have been injured or something, or maybe tired, and he didn't have this level of acceleration. Certainly on this play, he did. Great catch, almost takes it to the house. You could see the enthusiasm that he must have had as well if you looked at his sideline. Some of the plays that he made, if you looked at the player's reaction on the sideline, it was almost like, he was the one that was the main cog in this offense. And of course, you have, a lot of other guys, big guys, Pitts, the tight end, Matt Ryan, obviously, the receiver Ridley, who had a, really unusual season that I won't comment on. I don't know enough about. It seemed like Patterson gave them a spark. And he can do this, I think, again. Clearly, he could have done this before 2021. Cool route out of the backfield, and he's beating the DB here. You can see in a moment this DB is going to look back like, I hope somebody's here to help me. He knows he's beat because he didn't maintain his depth. He's on the line of scrimmage, running the wheel. He comes forward and then has to bend it back. He's got to maintain a little bit of depth there, being able to defend the swing route and the wheel if the running back turns it upfield. Cordarrelle Patterson, obviously extremely versatile. And I haven't even shown you a single running play yet. In this short preview video, I'm going to show you a handful of running plays out of the eye. Extremely effective on outside zone plays, designed wind back plays, bouncing it sometimes. He scored 3 touchdowns against Washington, not on run plays like this one. He scored 3 touchdowns against Washington in the pass game. Awesome season, if you ask me. I know that stats matter, but I was kind of disappointed that a guy like this didn't get invited to the Pro Bowl, initially at least, because to me his impact on this Falcons offense was considerable. And like I said, you got to give credit to Arthur Smith and Cordarrelle Patterson for not, I'm sure he was frustrated. He knew he could do these things. He's here in the eye, and he's running a lead stretch concept here against the Eagles. Week 1, I believe. The DN jumps inside the tight end. Right here, he's going to jump inside. So Patterson's just going to take it out to the edge after the fullback takes on the DN. He had a good season. I don't pretend to quote stats all the time, but immediate impact in the run game for Atlanta, and the pass game. You put him on the field, and you can line up in typical I formation like these that I just showed you in the last two plays, or he can move out as a receiver and do some damage there. A one back set here, so ace, whatever you want to call it. I believe the fullback is set up right here, so they've got 22 personnel on the field with what actually looks like an extra lineman there, right there to me. But call him a tight end, treated like a tight end, two tight ends. And two running backs, but the fullback is offset to the right, and it's just a toss. He bounces outside. Now, there's a great block by, I believe, the tight end number 85 over here, which you'll see from the end zone angle. I would love to see more players get to the point in their career where they've been, I don't want to use the word prejudged, but they've been utilized a certain way. Watch this block by number 85 on number 41. I would love to see more players like Cordarrelle Patterson be given opportunities in year 5, 6, and 7 that maybe they weren't given in year 1 and 2. I think too often in sports and probably in life, we judge people based on what they've done in the last couple of years, 5 years, whatever, as an athlete at least, and we never give them an opportunity to do more. Cordarrelle Patterson, I think, is a perfect example of that. He was probably motivated, when he got the opportunity. And I don't know how it happened. I'm not going to pretend to know how the opportunity happened for him to play running back. Sure, I'm glad that it did. Obviously, a lot of attention to Deebo Samuel, the deep playoff run that the 49ers had, and all the impact he had this year in the pass game and the run game. I think Cordarrelle Patterson belongs in that same breath. He had a similar impact for the Falcons. Their season, had a lot of ups and downs, and they weren't nearly as successful as the 49ers. Like I said, I'm going to have a larger film study on Cordarrelle Patterson, and I'm sure there's elements to this that I missed. Again, I wasn't quoting stats in here. I intend to have a pick up when I do the completed video of Cordarrelle Patterson's career stats and talking about how he was used. If memory serves, and you guys can correct me in the comments if you wish, the Patriots utilized him a little more for a couple of years. Not necessarily in this exact role as Arthur Smith, obviously, because I think they still had Brady there. But they utilized him a little bit more actually on offense, but primarily been a special teams player from what my memory serves. It's been fun to watch film of him. I still have 2 other games to go over. Probably looking at about 30 overall plays that I like to show in a lengthy video. If you guys have any suggestions about how player film studies could be altered or properly presented to you guys, please let me know. I'm looking for as much feedback as possible. This is designed to just be something short on Cordarrelle Patterson to get some feedback on what you guys think you see.